Welcome, my dear students of class 8A and 8B. Today, a new lesson. Before introducing a new lesson for you, I would like to say something for you. My dear students, the lessons which I will teach you, you have to be careful from time to time. In a sense, what you are being taught is taught perfectly. If you have any doubt, any confusion, you can send message to Teno. I shall help you as far as possible. But don't misuse your time during the time when I shall conduct my online classes for you. Today's topic I am going to teach. Name of this topic is Transition of Modern Era. Transition of Modern Era. Lesson number 1, Transition of Modern Era. Here are some points which I mentioned. You please look at it. Number 1, sources of history. Number 2, primary sources. Number 3, secondary sources. Number 5, transition from the medieval period to the modern period. 5, hallmarks of the modern period. And 6, Renaissance. First point, source of history. Source of history. My dear students, our first point is source of history. What is history? What is history? Studying of different facts of different societies are referred to as history. The historians have divided the past into 3 periods: ancient, medieval, and modern. Now, why did they divide it into 3 periods: ancient, medieval, and modern? To make the history easy and effective, the historians have done it. They have divided the past into 3 periods: ancient period, medieval period, and modern period. And what is ancient period? During the time when the primitive age started, that is ancient period. And whenever the primitive stage moved towards the modern age, moved towards the new age, this movement is known as transition to the history of different countries. Transition to the history means transition from one era to another era, transition to one period to another period. For the conveniences of themselves, the historians have classified 2 sources: primary sources and secondary sources. The historians, for their conveniences, after having collected different sources of past history, they have classified it into 2 categories: primary and secondary. Now, what is primary? Primary sources. Primary sources are those things which are preserved in the museum. For example, coins, artifacts, buildings, monuments. No, these are not preserved in museum. But primary source are of different categories. Number 1, buildings, monuments, These are also primary source, but these are not preserved. These are the historical sites. The historical sites are looked after by ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, from time to time in our country. But in other country, Archaeological Survey of different countries of the world, they generally look after all, buildings, monuments of historical interest. Besides, other sources, other primary sources, what are the other primary sources? The other primary sources are artifacts, books, coins, autobiographies, manuscripts. These all are the important documents which are preserved in museum, so that people of different generations must come there and must come to know about the past history, about the medieval history, about the modern history of different countries of the world. So these are the primary sources. And now what is secondary? What are secondary sources? The secondary sources are those sources which are collected by the historians after having taught or after having understood the facts and incidents of past history through primary sources. That means the historians first read out the primary sources, they gain knowledge from there, and then they write books, they explain various historical incidents, various historical facts from different angles, and highlight it for better explanation. The readers are supposed to read it and gain knowledge. Only this much the historians find out that these are the sources, these are primary sources, these are the secondary sources. That means books, journals, and various, pamphlets, handbills, where generally different historical facts, different historical explanation is mentioned through different sources. That means after having collected sources from different angles, historians publish journals, historians publish pamphlets, and they publish historical facts and incidents with many examples. And by reading these examples, by reading these facts, these articles from different journals, different souvenirs, different pamphlets, handbills, readers gain knowledge. So credit goes to the historians, who generally, by obtaining knowledge from primary sources, they write books and publish it for the readers. So these are the clarification, these are the classification between the two sources of history, primary sources and secondary sources. My next point, my dear students, transition from the medieval period to the modern period. Transition from the medieval period to the modern period. The medieval period is starting from 5th and modern period from 15th. The medieval period starts from 5th century and modern period from 15th century. And when a society is going to be advanced, when a society is progressing in different phases of life, in different parts of their members. This society is known as a society of progressive age. That means whenever the society is progressing, its historical facts and incidents also are progressing. Naturally, a new era, it witnesses a new era. So, from backward stage to the modern stage, from backward stage to the advanced stage, a society, whenever a society is moving from backward phase to the modern phase or advanced phase, this technique and this method and this process is known as transition. That means transition from medieval age to modern age. Transition. That means medieval period was a backward age. Medieval age means a backward age where society was dominated by the Catholic Church. People did not have any knowledge, did not have any choice, did not have any independent rights to open their mouths. On the contrary, Church dominated the common people and made them stop to give freedom of liberty, to give freedom of expression. The society was deprived of the church. But a group of people suddenly raised question against that system of Catholic Church. Why had the Catholic Church been dominating the society and its people? They raised question with reasonable causes, reasonable arguments, and made the church stop, made the people understand its necessity, and they made a number of steps in order to get them educated. People gradually became educated. So, a change took place in the society. That very backward society suddenly became advanced. It moved from the backward phase to the advanced phase. This transition in Europe, this transition to the society in Europe started and changed the entire circumstances of society because people now became educated. They all became educated and they became self-sufficient. They gradually understood which was right, which was wrong, how they should protest, and what should be done. They depended on science. So these age mark the beginning of a new era. This new era is modern era or modern age. Now hallmarks of the modern period. Hallmarks of the modern period. Point number 5. Hallmarks of the modern period. What is this? You know, there are certain characteristic features of the modern period. Certain characteristic features were there during the modern period. These characteristic features are growth of democratic society, growth of democratic institution, industrialization, urbanization, trade, colonization, growth of scientific temperament, growth of scientific temper, rationalism, humanism, and of course, Renaissance. These are the characteristic features of a new age. This is known as hallmarks of the modern period or modern age, my dear students. The last point, Renaissance. What is Renaissance? What is a Renaissance? Renaissance means rebirth. Renaissance means rebirth. That means a society which was sleeping. There was none to get them awakened. People had no curiosity. People had no thirst for knowledge. They were forced to close their mouths because of the influence of they were forced to close their mouths by the Catholic Church. But a new age suddenly changed the entire circumstances. People became educated. People became self-sufficient. They believed that science and scientific causes can lead, a society can lead human beings. So they must depend on scientific causes. They must depend on rationalism. In each and every fact, in each and every activity, there should be a cause. Smoke is found in the sky. That means fire is there behind the smoke. This kind of arguments, this kind of scientific temper change their attitude. As a result of it, they have developed a concept of rationalism. They have developed a concept of scientific temperament among the people, which also highlighted different, different phases of our lives, different phases of the lives of human beings. Development came in the field of art, in the field of architecture, in the field of science and literature during the Renaissance age. Up to this, my dear students. Next day, the remaining part of this lesson. Thank you.